Welcome all back into another episode of the Insight NFL podcast. It's Monday, the 4th of August. Gents, we're officially in the last month before NFL season starts with only 5 Sundays to go until kickoff. We were blessed with a little teaser with the Hall of Fame game on last Friday. I didn't actually really catch too much. I was not in any state to be watching anything, so I'll throw to you, DFAB, because I know you followed it. What were your thoughts on the Hall of Fame game? And is it just what we needed to start things off?
Yeah. Hello, boys. Hope we're all having a bloody splendid Monday. I have to quickly say, I'm so happy to be doing fantasy stuff on a Monday. This is the way to start a week. Like, I'm thrilled. Hall of Fame game, to be expected. The last 3 quarters are complete pox. It's not worth your time. It's honestly background noise. But the 2 things I took out of it is, I am somewhat holding out hope that Trey Lance could be a thing. Like, I don't think he's getting a game this year. Let's not hear what I'm not saying, but the way he was kind of dropping in some passes and stuff, he looked like he was a somewhat competent passer, which was kind of exciting. So that was nice. But the big one for me was Amiri Hampton. He looks like a monster. So we didn't get to see much of him at all, but what we did see, like, he looks powerful, he looks elusive. I like Hampton. So
just a beast of a man, isn't he? I mean, I was watching a little bit of the highlights, I thought that was Bav out there. I had to quickly see the number, see what he looked like.
Yeah, he's a thick boy. In like good thick. Like, I like Hampton a lot, and full disclosure, he took a couple of bumps up in my rankings, which, not to self promote, but he's now live on our Patreon. So definitely go and have a look if you haven't already. Yeah, Hampton looks like he could be the guy, and it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up being, that top 1-2 kind of running back out of this class. He looks really solid.
He's definitely on the rise. I don't know, Mav, you're a Hampton fan, as well as a little Najee Harris fan. How are you feeling after getting a little glimpse of what's to come?
I just want to know why he went on the outside in the red zone. Go between the tackles, and that's a little hint for I suppose. But go between the tackles and show us what you can do between the tackles. Don't go on the outside and try and look like a little bitch. Barge through the
little bitch is crazy.
Barge through the middle and just work your way through. But no, he looks pretty good. It's very exciting to see what this prospect can be like in this draft. It's just a shame he's tied down with Najee. What could have been, I suppose. But anyway, it was good to see some football. I saw about 10 snaps, I reckon, for the game. That's including the snaps that I saw today. And
honestly, it's all you need.
Look, I was sort of excited for the game, but then I realised that, it's just a Hall of Fame game, and they're just trying to give us a little bit of a tease without giving us a tease, if that makes sense. So anyway, football's back.
Hell yeah.
Football's back, baby. And before we jump into tonight's show, it is a mock draft Monday, as promised last week. We do have a little bit of news since the last show last week, so we'll run through that. Flip it over to you, DFAB, again, to guide us through that part.
For sure. There's only a couple things that I want to throw to you guys. A lot of it's just a little bit of info here and there. So going to bounce around the NFL a little bit with the news here. So Khalil Shakir, current wide receiver 1 for the Bills. He's currently week to week with a high ankle sprain. Week to week is a little bit scary. When you hear week to week, you think 4 to 6. And I know that there's been some real groundswell for Khalil Shakir. A lot of his advanced metrics look like he should have had a bigger year than he did. So I know, me for one, I'm pretty disappointed that Khalil Shakir is, nursing a couple of things. A couple of bigger names, AJ Brown sitting out from practice at the moment with hamstring tightness. I know that we've said many times that, hamstring niggles in the preseason normally don't spell out too well. I'm not concerned yet, but definitely one to watch. A beacon of health, Hollywood Brown. He's currently nursing an ankle sprain. There's no clear timetable for return, so that knocks him down a couple of pegs in, I'm guessing, all our rankings. I should be mentioning teams. So Hollywood Brown from Kansas City, wide receiver. He's, ankle sprain. No idea when he's going to be back, so keep an eye on him. Another beacon of health, Kenneth Walker, running back 1 from the Seattle Seahawks, currently battling both foot and ankle injuries. Foot and ankle issues is the terminology that's being used. Their coaches have said that, quote unquote, we're being cautious, he's fine. That seems to be where they're at. But, I mean, anyone that's played fantasy for the last few years knows that Kenneth Walker is always hurt. So a little bit concerning there, one to watch. Isaac Guerrero, who is the backup running back for the 49ers, probably the most valuable handcuff in fantasy at the moment. Currently nursing a shoulder and an arm injury, possibly a collarbone. The severity's unknown, so keep an eye on that. Obviously, that's a little bit worrying. I believe it's Jordan James is the running back 3 there. He maybe gets a little bit of a bump if you're doing a draft at the moment as that late round dart throw. Moving down the list there, Juwan Jennings, who, again, with all the injuries in the 49ers wide receiver room, he's now missed 4 straight practices with his calf strain. Something encouraging there, though, Russell Gage. The sickos may remember Russell Gage from, I believe, 2 years ago at the Falcons. Killed it out of the slot. Looks like he's in the lead for that wide receiver 3 role as it stands at the moment, so he gets a bump. And if Juwan Jennings misses extended time, Russell Gage looks like he's going to be the one to step up as well. So that's really exciting for him. So kind of pencil him in, put him on your watch list. Rashee Rice confirmed that the NFL is still speaking with him regarding a suspension that's possible this year. Nothing set in stone. It looks like he may be available for week 1, but the general vibe of the quotes from him look like the suspension will come this year. So just bear in mind, Rashee Rice is probably looking at that 4 to 6. TJ Hawkinson currently nursing a groin discomfort, I guess. I guess he's a bit tight. Again, soft tissue injuries on the lower extremities are always a bit of a worry coming into the main year. And something a little bit more exciting, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. Jaden Reed, we know that the Packers wide receiver room is really messy, it's really difficult to kind of figure out. They had a family night scrimmage, and every single snap he got was at the slot. Every route he ran was at the slot. So probably showing some value there. So just I wanted to highlight someone that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. But onto the 3 main pieces of business, and I wanted to throw to you guys to get some insight. Keenan Allen. So he visited the Chargers facility over the weekend, and there's lots of murmurings about there being mutual interest, getting them kind of having that reunion. We know that we like the rookies there, Trey Harris and Lambert Smith. Mav, I'm going to throw to you first. How do you feel about the possibility of Keenan Allen having that reunion with the Chargers and what that means for the rookies there?
Yeah, it's going to hurt Trey Harris. I mean, Keenan Allen's obviously going to be a plug-and-play sort of player. He got targeted a bunch last year in a really average offense, and can still play. So I'm surprised he's taking this long to really sign a contract at this point. So, McConkey's probably untouched. He's still the number 1, and then Keenan Allen would probably slot in as the number 2 option, and then Trey Harris would be a deep number 3. But they'd probably be, battling out for time in that same position, I'd say. But it does hurt. But hey, all in all, for the Chargers, it's definitely wheels up for the Chargers, and they'll be making a Super Bowl or a playoff sort of push for sure.
Yeah, it's a great real life NFL move. Mull, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think if anything, Justin Herbert is the main beneficiary out of here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that kind of looks between Ladd and Keenan. They both love to play out of that slot, but I think Ladd, he's just too good, I think. And Keenan, I think he's gone on to age 32 season if he does sign. It is a little bit, I guess, questionable because we know that Herbert has worked with Allen before. So how will that work in his second tenure now at the Chargers? But yeah, I think Trey Harris takes a big hit if he does come on board, but Herbert, he'll be wheels up if he gets one of his main guys back.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on from there, people, again, the sickos will remember, I think it'd be probably pushing 4 or 5 years ago now, Robbie Chosen, formerly known as Robbie Anderson, had a couple of really big weeks, and he's now been signed by the 49ers amid all the injury concerns. Obviously, we mentioned before, Juwan Jennings out for 4 straight practices. They're pretty banged up left, right, and center. Mull, are you giving Robbie Chosen even a second look at the moment? Is he worth a dart throw?
No, I don't think so. But I'd love to know what's going on with that 49ers with the trainers, because I mean, Pearsall was injured last week. Now it's Juwan Jennings. Hopefully CMC is back to full health. So yeah, that's going to be one to watch if those guys are kind of flip-flopping between those. But I mean, Robbie Chosen, yeah, I won't be choosing him in any of my leagues coming up.
Yep, Mav.
That guy's actually skinnier than me, DFAB.
There's not much on him, is there?
Not many guys that can actually say that in their life, but he is actually skinnier than me. So, nah, look, it's probably just more of a depth piece. I don't even make the roster if that's the case.
Yeah,
they're still pretty stacked.
Yeah.
But Juwan Jennings being out for a while is obviously a massive concern, and George Kittle looks like he's just absolute value at this point.
Oh,
so,
yeah. 100%.
He's going to be a massive target for in fantasy draft, I reckon, and he could be the tight end one.
Yeah, I agree. Don't get drawn in. I know that Robbie. I can't get around calling him Robbie Chosen. Robbie Henderson. Yeah. I know he's got 2 top 24 wide receiver finishes in the past. He's 32. He's over the hill. I think I agree. He's there as a break glass in case of the other guys not getting up. Probably the biggest news, though, guys, over the last week or so, or last 5-6 days since our last pod, James Cook. So where we left things last time, he was at the facility, still saying that he, still trying to get his deal done, but was doing the right things. He was open to participating in drills. It was not a hold-in per se. He was kind of doing his thing. That now looks like discussions have broken down a little bit. He now is beginning a holdout, and he's the general. I don't know the exact quote, but it's that it's business. This is not an injury. He's not sitting out because he's not healthy. This is a business decision to try to get the money he wants. I don't know about you guys. For me, alarm bells, and he's off my board now. I can't even think about clicking draft on James Cook right now. Mav, is this like proper panic stations, like worried, or do you think this is just like leveraging and they'll get a deal done before the season starts?
It's definitely leveraging. I mean, look, he saw in the playoffs, and Mel will probably back me on this one. He should have had more touches in that playoff game against the Ravens. He was absolutely balling. They took the ball away from him, and they just went sideways. Look, Ray Davis is obviously the one that comes to mind straight away.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
will have a big bump in production if Cook was missed any time. Obviously, Cook's trying to look after himself. I get it. I'd do exactly the same thing if I was in his situation. But he was also one guy that had massive issues on for regression going into 2025. He had a massive touchdown to yard ratio, I suppose. I don't think he even hit 1,000 yards last year. If he did, it was just. But it was on the
it was 1,009.
Yeah, it was on the fringe. So, look, concern, yes. But also regression's also there for him as well. So he's just trying to get a payday and look after himself. I don't blame him.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot. I get it. Mull, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, purely just posturing, I think, from James Cook. I mean, he was probably hoping that if he came into pre-training camp and tried to show a little bit of love, he'd maybe get some in return. But now that no deal has come through, he's just gonna play the waiting game, I think, which is sad to see because we have seen what these holdouts can do to NFL players. This is the peak time for them to get conditioned and ready for the season. And it's never a good sign when this happens. So like you guys mentioned, Ray Davis on the up. He has shown us what he can do when is given the workload. So it'll be good to watch him coming up. But one to watch. James Cook will be flying down in ADP the more he holds out. So definitely want to watch.
Agreed. For sure. And that's the news. Obviously, we'll go a lot more in depth with our news later on in the week as we go through training camp discussions and week 1 preseason previews and stuff like that. But for the moment, I reckon, Mull, let's get stuck into this mock draft, mate.
Let's get right into it. So for our audio listeners, we are dropping a 1 quarterback half PPR mock, and we do have a full 12 team fit out. We've mostly got insight creators that are jumping in tonight to get away from the bots, and also a couple of viewers as well who are in the stream. So with the roster formats, we've got 1 quarterback, as mentioned, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex spots, and then also 3 bench spots. So 11 rounds total. We'll be kicking off. So let's just get into it, guys. I'll start this mock draft up. We'll get a nice little tune here.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
It's a good sound. It's a good sound.
It's one of the best screens to see, isn't it, this one?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Just a quick one for our viewers as well. If there's any questions that you do have about certain picks, and whether you like it or you're wondering, is that the right pick? Obviously, we're going to discuss our own picks. But if there's anything in particular you guys want to know, please let us know. Obviously, I'm on the clock here, being that it's a single QB. We're obviously going to go for the skill position guys. And for me, very nice, Sig. For me, I'm going Jameer Gibbs. It's a little bit earlier than consensus, but for me, I think he's got the best shot at being the overall number one in fantasy with the way things are going. So, yeah, I'm taking Jameer there.
That's a hot start. Definitely not consensus. I thought that might have been a Bijan.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
properly,
Bijan?
too.
He had that.
It's Bijan, mate.
Is it Bijan?
I'm not changing. Was it Bijan? That's what he wants.
Bijan, yeah, Bijan or something.
We're saying
That's no. You've let it go for 2 years. Sorry, deal with it. Win me a chip, and then I'll change how I say your name.
He's a start on the way for sure.
Yeah. Very quickly want to highlight. I love the CD Lamb pick. If it wasn't Gibbs, I'm taking CD Lamb. I don't care if it's at the 3. I think those two are poised for an absolutely massive year.
Yeah, and even in half PPR, of course, because we know CD, he loves to get all the volume, but he's just a difference maker all around. So you can't go wrong taking CD. And what do you guys think about CMC going there at the 5 spot behind those 3 elite running backs? Definitely a gamble.
Yeah, I like CMC. I'm cooling off on him a little bit, as I know I was super, super high on him 2-3 weeks ago. I still think he's really, really valuable, but I just worry about the fact that teams can just stack the box against him. Mav, I know you're on the clock, mate. I reckon jump in. Let us know what you're thinking.
Mate, I know Justin Jefferson's got some concerns going into this year with these hammies, but at pick number 9, unbelievably slid that far, and I had to take him that pick. It's a
yeah. That's a long slide.
Good value there.
That's a long slide.
And
definitely
Mav,
does speak to the. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, I was going to say, Mav, if this is what a taste to come, mate. 50 seconds to make a no-brainer in Justin Jefferson. I mean, I hope I'm not in too many drafts with you this off season.
Especially an 8-hour timer, mate. It's got an 8-hour timer. Gee whiz.
You'd be waiting for the last 10 seconds just for a piss take, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'll just run through this first round so far. So we had Jamar Chase, Barkley, Gibbs from DFAB, Bijan, CMC, CD, Puka, Nico Collins. Mav took Justin Jefferson at the 1-9, Brian Thomas Jr., Ashton Genty, and onto me on the 1-2 turn. So looking at here in this format, I love to get a running back. Genty would have been that guy for me based off my rankings. But I mean, it's very, very chalk. Derrick Henry, but wouldn't have mattered either way. I'm going to take Derrick Henry when it comes to half PPR, just with that rushing floor that we love. Yeah. And then I'm going to pair that with Amon-Ra, who's going to be the next up in my rankings.
How good's a 112 this year, boys? A 112.
Oh, it's a good spot to be.
It actually is. Generally speaking, you want the number 1 pick or high up there in drafts. But this year, the back end of the drafts are really coming out, I reckon, and you can get some seriously good value at those picks.
Yeah.
It's usually been a bit of a dead zone, but gee whiz.
Yeah, it's a good year to have that pick. I feel like there's just so much that's changed this year too. Very quickly, I want to just highlight MC Fizbeers. I was a little bit worried about the Brian Thomas pick in the first round. I think he's good, but first round value I thought that was spicy. But getting Devon Achane at the 15th pick, like I would have, if I had that flipped and he took Devon round 1 and then had Brian Thomas coming into round 2, it's a really, really safe. That's a really comfortable start in half PPR. So yeah, good recovery there, I think.
I'm going to see what this draft looks like, boys. And this is just a mock draft, so it's always good to test. But I'm going to see what a tight end looks like with Brock Bowers in this team. So I'm going to take Brock Bowers here and take no running back approach until later on and see what the team ends up looking like. It's not really a way I'd go about business, but, we'll see how it ends up.
Hey, I like it. And this is the place to do it, Mav, in the mock. This is where you can whip up some new creations in the kitchen. And honestly, I don't mind it, honestly, because Brock Bowers, I mean, we saw what he could do in his rookie year. I mean, if he gets double-digit touchdowns, the quarterback play is going to be so much better. The offense as a whole is going to be better as well. So he could definitely jump up into that next level. And I mean, if you're getting him there, he could well and truly lap the field.
But even
like Kelsey has done.
For example, going at that next pick, like that is his ceiling. That is his ceiling right there. You're drafting him in absolute.
I agree.
Best, so you better hope that he actually performs. I think he might. Don't get me wrong, but that's just we're talking best case scenario here with Bucky Irving.
Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned the drafting at his ceiling. So like he was the RB14 last year. You look at the scores that he put up at the back end of last year from I guess the week before the bye, he had, 17s, 27s, 27s, 23s. Like you're drafting almost above his ceiling right now. Like he had a really, really good finish, but you're just asking so much for him to continue that. So yeah, he's a tough one. I can't spend second round capital on a Bucky Irving.
It's so
I
nice,
would
but
rather take Chase Brown, who went 2 picks later.
Yeah. Even then, that still feels early for Chase Brown too.
It does, yeah. But this is the problem with the 1 QB leagues, fellas, and we've seen it so many times where running backs are an absolute premium. It always is with 1 QB leagues. It's always been the way, but oh well. This is a mock, boys. We're just seeing how this team
Just
ends.
you negging out over the 1 QB.
Yeah, mate. You know me. You know me. That 1 QB.
Yeah, the man doesn't like it.
You know how I feel.
The man doesn't. Oh yeah. Yeah, the man hasn't stopped complaining for the 4 or 5 years that I've played fantasy with you. Hey, is this the year we do Superflex, boys? 1 QB sucks.
Yeah, we'll get there one day, mate. We'll get it over the line soon.
We will. Fun round so far. Obviously, it's really RB heavy, and good to see that the guys that started with that real like hero wide receiver have then come back and tried to set themselves up with a solid running back. I particularly like Deadly Squad with with Jonathan Taylor. I think his rushing. I would be much more comfortable having Jonathan Taylor than I would Bucky Irving or Chase Brown this year. I back you on that decision there too, Mull.
I'm just going to run through
that's
it. There's no green light. Whisperer, mate, what are you doing?
Disappointing.
You're the only one weighing us down. But I mean, Drake London, that was probably the direction that he probably would go, and that's what you can't really fault that at all.
Yeah, you could not. That's a massive slide.
And there goes our second tight end in the second round, Trey McBride. And DFAB, you're back on the clock for your second pick.
All right. So with this, I promise I'm not doing this just to try to be extreme. I've always been the guy to suggest you pick the guys you believe in. Ignore ADP. For lack of a better term, fuck it. Find the guys you like, the guys that you think are going to do really, really well, and take them. And I feel quite lucky that Drake London came off the board, because if Drake London got to me, it would have messed up what I had planned in my head. He would have been my guy. That would have been the easiest chalk ever. I'm going Breece Hall. I'm going the 2 RBs to start. I know it's quite early. You got Josh Jacobs on the board there. You've still got Kyron. The previously mentioned James Cook still available. But yeah, Breece Hall for mine. I just believe so much in his ability, for one. I believe in his health. All the reports are that he's looking really, really strong and solid. But I just feel like I don't back Fields enough as a downfield passer. I think he's going to be that guy that's going to either break out of the pocket or dump a lot to the running back. And the last time Breece Hall was getting elite levels of, dump offs out of the backfield, he had 95 targets for 76 catches and was the running back 2 in 2023. I think that he's going to regress closer to that mean than what he did last year, which was running back 16, which is still a fantastic result considering. So yeah, Breece Hall.
And I just want to, after you made that pick, DFAB, we've got Dylan here in the chat. He thinks it's a little crazy, but I think, I guess just to preface, like in terms of the ADP game, you probably could have went Jacobs if you wanted to and then gotten hauled around later. But for the sake of what it's worth, if you believe in these guys and you don't want to take the risk, just take your guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. We're here to play fantasy, and that's all what it's all about. Taking the guys that you're keen on.
And you know what? I will speak to that, Dylan. You're 1,000% right. But the reason why is I'm thinking ahead. My third rounder, I don't believe gets back to me in the 4th. So if I take Breece Hall now, I believe in him more than I believe in a Josh Jacobs or Marion Hampton was close. But if I believe in him more than I believe in these other guys, and I know who I want on my third rounder, I'm ditching ADP. I'm backing the guys that I believe in. So you're 100% right. If you want, so it's like if you want a Breece Hall or you want someone with a mid third round ADP, 1,000%. Let them hold, be smarter, try to figure out who the guys ahead of you are going to pick, and do that. But anyone that's been listening to the pod knows since March, I've been beating the table for one guy, and that's Devontae Adams. There's no way I'm risking him not getting to me. And I am. I know it looks spicy, but I could not be more thrilled with the start of Gibbs, Hall, and Adams. That I think that really sets me up with a really, really solid floor and a super high ceiling. And you don't draft to play safe. You draft to win. So if you believe in you guys, stick with them.
And Mav, before you jump in here, mate, I'll just quickly run through. So after DFAB took Brees Hall at the 210, we had Terry and Josh Jacobs to round out the second. Start off the third, Omarion Hampton, George Kittle. DFAB took Devontae Adams. And then we had Tyreek Hill. And now I'm just going to auto this one again because there's no green light.
Yeah, good shot.
Just keep it running. So Kyron Williams was the auto. And then we've got a couple of picks leading up to Mav, but you go DFAB.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, boys, while you are, 4 and 6, 7 picks away, just speak to the viewers. Like, what are you looking for right now? Are you guys looking through your list, trying to get a couple of players in mind? Are you trying to suss out what the teams ahead of you that you think they're going to pick? What's your approach look like as you wait for your third round pick to come up on the board? We'll start with you, Mav, just because your pick's next.
Well, the word pick just fucked it for me, just quietly. Well, obviously, my team's in a situation where it probably needs a running back. So I'm just trying the approach of taking value early. Like, Brock Bowers could go in the first round. He's got that ability. But, yeah, obviously running back here would be the one that I will be taking. Yeah. Which is,
and with that, just so I've got it in mind, looking at the guys like Kamara and Kenneth and Chuba and James Conner, what do you value if you've gone a 0 RB strategy going into the third? Are you looking for ceiling or are you looking for a safe floor? What is it that you value in that third round pick?
Yeah, well, James Cook's obviously got question marks at the moment. Then you got obviously Kenny Walker, Alvin Kamara, and Chuba Hubbard. Now Kamara is obviously the safe option. He's probably the guy that I'm looking at to go here. Kenny Walker's obviously got a bit of an injury history and is also currently still injured. Cannot sort of nurse his injury he's got going at the moment, and looks like Kamara's going to forward me here. So I will take Alvin Kamara, safe option. He is the offense at the moment at New Orleans with no QB that is relevant.
They got nothing else.
So I think they're going to be grounding, pounding, and pumping in the ball and little dump offs, and it's got the makings of a really good fantasy season for Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. And I think that's the angle. Yeah, and when it comes to when you are pushing running backs down the board too, and you want that anchor or that hero running back, you do want guys that that are going to have that a lot of opportunity, the safe floor, and Alvin Kamara definitely fits that bill. But I'm just going to say before my pick, AJ Brown at the 3-6, that is just, for
crazy.
me, that is just the biggest value I feel. I'm probably taking him where Terry McLaurin goes at the back end of the second.
Yep.
I'm probably even taking him before Jake London. That's just the way my rankings
really
are shaking out. But
that feels spicy.
I'm all in on AJ Brown this year. I think they're going to have to pass more. Defense is going to take a little step back, and I think Jalen Hurts. I'm also going to be taking him a little bit higher than normal too this year. So
yeah, right, interesting.
We'll see how it plays out. But after Mav's pick of Alvin Kamara, we had JSN at the 310, Kenneth Walker, and that is who I was going to be taking, which is just a real shame there. Looking at these spots here, I normally don't take quarterback early, but I mean, to take the first QB here at the back end of the third, I will be taking the current MVP in Josh Allen. Not really a strategy that I like to take on board when it comes to one QB. I like to push quarterbacks down the line a little bit, just because of how deeper the room is when it comes to those guys in this format. But I'm getting a true difference maker, a guy that I see is going to finish top 2 overall in fantasy. So I'm happy to take him. And to pair with Josh Allen, I think I will take a running back. But I mean, they've all dried up. I mean, I'm not taking Chuba Hubbard.
It ends quick, doesn't it?
Thanks. Yeah, it ends so quick. And like we were actually saying to Flanders, who's in here tonight and pre-show, just trying to give a little bit of insight before the mock. Running backs do dry up very, very quick.
Yeah.
Even in the third rounds, we're already questioning it. So I'm going to pivot. I'm getting away from running backs, and hopefully I can find a little bit value later on. I will be taking T. Higgins. He's my next best player in this format, and he doesn't need a lot of receptions in half PPR. He's definitely has 10 touchdown upside. He doesn't need all of that volume. So I'm happy to take him there to start off the fourth round.
I'm surprised he didn't take Chuba Hubbard there, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not too high.
Yeah,
honestly,
I really like Chuba this year. I like Chuba a lot. But you're right, it's pretty dry after him. It's a lot of like, if everything falls right, then these guys could be league winners. But if it doesn't, they could be at best a flex play.
Yeah, I agree. And I like, how good's the Panthers offense really going to be? That's the way that I kind of see it. I don't know how many touchdowns those guys are going to really have there, but we're getting a little bit of a quarterback run here before Mavs.
Yeah, it always happens.
Always happens. And Jaden Daniels going back to back there. So, and that's like probably the range.
The first QB drops and then they all drop after that. It's actually pretty funny how that plays out.
Yeah.
I was never taking a QB at that pick, might I add, so that's fine for me. My biggest problem right now is I've got 3 players on the board that I really love, and at their current ADP. Now, look, James Cook is probably one of them. I think he's a good value here at the 4th round, obviously if he plays, but question marks for him at the moment, so I'm probably going to let him go. Marvin Harrison's obviously a big breakout candidate here at this pick. But I probably need a running back because I will not get one till another round or so. So I'm going to take Chuba Hubbard. I think he's really earned his spot into the play here. So Chuba Hubbard is my RB2, and my zero RB strategy in the first 2 rounds is actually looking all right after round 4.
I like it. Good decision. So from there we've got Jalen Hurts off the board, and the QB waterfall that always happens, I find so interesting. It's like people see the first one go, and it immediately creates this supply and demand bull rush where everyone's like, I need to get my guy now. I think we kind of all, and James Cook off the board now. I think we've kind of discussed it at length to a point on pod, but mostly off pod. We all agree that there's so much value, especially in single QB leagues, going way late or even playing the waivers and stuff like that. There's so many capable players. Let everyone else do it and just enjoy the slide on all these skill position players.
The tier 1 QBs are now off the board, so you'd expect the next tier of QBs to fly your Patrick Mahomes, your Baker Mayfield, your Bo Nixes, your Kyler Murrays after that. Will probably fall in the next sort of, I don't know, next round or so. I'd expect RB and wide receiver to be picked here, but generally you have one QB that falls. Obviously, Mullin took in the first one there, and then obviously the wave, the next tier of QBs after that, and then dries out a little bit. So we'll see when the next one falls, and then again you'll have the next wave of QBs going through after that.
Yep, agreed. Now I'm in a really ugly spot here, and part of the reason I chose the 3rd is I think this is a really difficult spot to draft from because there's a lot of risk at the moment. So if you look, Rashee Rice, obviously you all but know there's going to be a 4 to 6 week suspension coming through. You got DJ Moore. There's a lot of mouths to feed. He could be okay, but he should be okay, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. Is this the year where Rome Odunze goes crazy and DJ Moore regresses? Obviously, Joe Mixon, we know his health struggles. DK Metcalf, new QB. James Conner feels like he's walking around with a walking frame. Cortland Sutton looks nice. Sam Laporta looks kind of nice. Right now, what I want to do with the security and knowing how he finished last year is I'm going to take Xavier Worthy. I think with Hollywood Brown going down. He's, again, looking at the turn. I know it's probably a little bit earlier compared to where ADP sits. But they've exactly right. They've got no one. Travis Kelce is at best a touchdown guy at the moment. Unless he's genuinely healthy again. Xavier Worthy looks like he's going to have a lot of work. And if Rice does end up falling out, and if Hollywood Brown is done for an extended period, like Mav said, they've got no one to throw to. So Xavier Worthy is definitely getting a bump in my rankings, and I'm going to take the hope for a high-end ceiling with Xavier Worthy and hope that he can try to channel like a Tyreek Hill from Wish kind of thing and start to build on how he finished last year.
Yeah, it was promising the way they ended up at the back end of last year. Even in the Super Bowl, he played really well too. Obviously, the game
exactly.
By the time he got going, but it was positive the fact that he was involved. It's hard to say Xavier Worthy because I've been really, really, really critical in the use of Xavier Worthy, but also Andy Reid just hates using rookies as well. He's always been like you got to earn your spot.
Yeah, he is. Exactly.
So maybe he's earned his spot now.
what felt like it by the end of the year he did. Like, I'm just looking at the last 6 weeks of the year. His snap counts jumped from 58, 64%, 59%, jumped to 83, 81, 80, 85. So he started getting bona fide starters minutes, and that was with Hollywood Brown back in the fold. And with that, he was able to put up 19.6, 20.5, 22.9. And a lot of it down with yardage and receptions. It's not purely held up with touchdowns. So, I think Xavier Worthy has a lot of upside and should still be incorporated in the offense no matter what. So it feels like a safe pick.
Yeah, and you expect that second year leap as well. Just to touch on quickly with Worthy, and I just wanted to see what you guys think. When I really kind of my philosophy in drafts and where you get that advantage, the first couple rounds you can't really go wrong. I mean, of course, if you steer really far off of ADP and consensus, you can kind of get yourself in a pickle. But probably from round 4, I think that's probably where you're going to start getting your big advantages throughout the rest of the draft. That's where your difference makers come in. So, I mean, you calling your shot there on Worthy, he could definitely well and truly outperform that ADP, and that's the risk that you want to take. But before you took Worthy, we did have Mike Evans and Joe Burrow go off the board, along with Marvin Harrison. Pacheco after Worthy at the 411, Cortland Sutton to round out the 4th round, and then we've had DK Metcalf as we get up to your pick now, DFAB, and Patty Mahomes off the board as well, so leading into your 5th spot.
I was going to say, don't say Patty Mahomes. I don't want to take him. Let someone else take that. Nah, not at all. No, not right now. I like rushing upside on my QBs. So again, this is where I'm going to kind of dip out on ADP a little bit. If I look at the current RBs available, there's very, very few that I back to get starters snaps from the get-go. So if I just look at the best available, we've got James Conner, who has already admitted that he expects to cede a certain snap count to Trey Benson, someone I was super high on last year. David Montgomery, I'm fading quite a lot this year. Plus, I've got Jahmyr Gibbs, so he's not even in consideration. RJ Harvey, I love, and you'll probably hear more about him on Thursday, wink, wink. But I don't back him to be a full-time starter. The one person I do out of that list is Caleb Johnson at the Steelers. So I'm going to take my shot with someone that I expect to be a workhorse back from week 1 with Caleb Johnson.
You bastard.
Yeah, that one stings. I mean, it works out even better because I think Mav probably would have taken him there, so I was absolutely no hope. But that's the kind of the plays that you want to take if you do. I mean, but you're just scooping up all the running backs early. But I mean, that's the kind of play as well. If you do fade running backs early, that value with Caleb Johnson, a rookie that could definitely get the lion's share of the workload straight out the gate. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong. Great pick there. Great pick there.
Thank
and Mav,
I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome, man. And Mav, leading up to you, what are your kind of thoughts here? We've had James Conner and Devonta Smith come off the board there, and I mean Devonta 2 rounds after AJ Brown, I think he might be a little bit of a sneaky value too. And Mav, what are your thoughts on the Eagles' wide receiver values at the moment, and then following up with where your mindset is at?
Yeah, mate, they are value this year, the Eagles wide receivers. I mean, you saw in the first half of games last year, the Eagles were just pumping teams, right? They just pounded the rock after that. They did not even need to pass the ball through the air because the game was pretty much done. I think their strength of schedule is a lot harder this year. So expect them to be sort of in ball games a lot. So I'm expecting their talent to come through at wide receiver. They're too good not to. So hopefully teams can just stay within arm's length and they can just keep throwing the ball around because their defense is still mega.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a wide receiver at this pick here, to be honest with you, Mel. Look, I've already invested in Trooper Hubbard there at 404. So I'm probably looking at a Ted McMillan at this next pick, if I'm being honest with you. And sort of investing in the Carolina offense and Bryce Young to save the day for me. So I might have to take him
bold.
I'd have to take him at QB if that's the case as well, just to really get all in there. But look, I mean, Rashee Rice is still good. Look, he's got that impending suspension coming. We don't know how long that's going to be for. And he's coming off a knee as well. But, so there you go. He's still available. So Tony Pollard, I think, was a bit of a reach there at that pick, to be quite honest with you, at 5'8". He would be someone I'd be looking at round 6 to round 7. But anyway, we got Rashee Rice. We got DJ Moore. I'm not really too big on those two players at the moment. Zay Flowers is really off my board. I've never really been Zay Flowers, I was last year, and then he burnt me. So
Yeah,
there's
it's so
room
hard to
there
be
already.
in that offense, right?
Yeah, it is, unless you're a running back, and they've got two of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I've got Ted McMillan and George Pickens, two guys that I'm really high on. So I'm going to take Ted McMillan and really invest in the Panthers offense, and he's going to get peppered all year, man.
Yeah. No, I love that pick. I agree. He looks like he's such a prototypical X receiver, and Bryce Young showed a lot to really be optimistic about at the back end of last year. So that feels like a nice pick.
Nice little Mike Evans comparison there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good value there for sure.
So, and on speaking of value, Rashie Rice at 5'11" at such a steal. Even if he is out for 4 to 6, he looked like he was a bona fide top 12 wide receiver before he got hurt last year. That's a nice pick.
But does he take a year to get going?
I don't think so. I assume I'd like to think he's been doing at least a little bit of cardio.
Oh, he has on the. Well, that was last year. I was going to say, stop.
Mullin.
All right,
talk us through where your head's at, mate.
And for me, I mean, I would have loved Caleb Johnson in this spot, and I think in a lot of home leagues, he probably is going to still be lurking around this 5-6 range. But I'm going to dive into the rookie running back well and lean on just how talented we were blessed that class was, and we were truly blessed with the running back additions for this year. So it is half PPR, but Travion Henderson, I will be locking him in here at the back end of the 5th, just leaning into the fact that I think he will be seeing the field a whole lot more compared to Ramondre Stevenson, even though he's a smaller back and he probably won't be getting all the carries. I mean, he's definitely the better pass protector. And we see that in the NFL, those pass protecting running backs, they do see the field quite more often. So I think he can definitely make a big impact. Doesn't mean many touches to make some big plays. And following up with Travion, I mean, I'm going to take DJ Moore. I really like that value at the back end of the 6th round. So I'm happy to take him, who I project to be the Bears wide receiver 1 to at least start the year.
He should be. Yeah, he should be. Just to help you out there, just to recap that previous round, started off with DK Metcalf, Patty Mahomes, Caleb Johnson from myself, James Conner, Devonta Smith then off the board, Aaron Jones. Obviously, we've got a couple of question marks on Aaron Jones, so keen to see how that one turns out. Sam Laporta, the last of those really like tier 1, tier 2 tight ends by ADP. Tony Pollard in a spicy pick from Jay Sigger, who was talking a lot of nonsense right at the start of the chat. Ted McMillan to Matty Morrell, really backing the big name rookie. Then we've got RJ Harvey, Rashie Rice, and Travion Henderson to finish up the 5th round. Just waiting on Flanders now. And whack, he's gone big. Quinshon Judkins. Before we get to you, Matty, I really want to ask you if he's good. Like when I say good, I mean with all the off-field stuff. That's one of those like steal of the draft, win your chip kind of things, because he's hyper talented and looks to be the entire offense at Cleveland. Are you making that pick if you're in the 6th round?
Who invited Matt Carmody? I was taking George Pickens. No, he would have gone in my 5th round, to be honest, with Quinton Judkins. I was massive.
Yeah,
he was
right.
a potential workhorse running back. He's going to get pounded all year long if he plays. We don't know what the situation is there. He's got a lot of problems there at the moment on and off field, but hyper talented. I'm taking another receiver here, boys. I just couldn't really sort of put myself to taking another running back at this pick with Swift and Montgomery and Joe Mixon, who's missing a foot at the moment. I really couldn't get my head around that. But there's 3 guys there that really sort of stand out to me at the moment. Travis Hunter, obviously, we know what he could be. Could be anything.
Yeah.
Could be nothing. Jalen Waddle is a fantastic value at this pick. And Chris Olave is always obviously one as well that I've always liked him as a player, but just don't like the situation. So I'll take the guy with the decent situation. I'll take Jalen Waddle at this pick. I think he's going to be a bit of a steal and a massive bounce back candidate for 2025.
Yeah, and 3 rounds later than his wide receiver mate and Tyreek Hill too. Yeah, it's definitely some good value.
Hinges on
Waddle. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, have you seen just how decimated the Dolphins secondary has been too? I mean, that was a team last year that you couldn't really throw on, but I mean, Jalen Ramsey's gone. I think they've only really added Minkah Fitzpatrick of note, but besides that, a lot of guys going down with ACL, so they're going to be struggling in the secondary to start the year. So could be a good one. Could produce some really good fantasy goodness with the guns that they have there.
Did I see that the entire secondary has changed over from last year
Yes.
at Miami?
Yep. Yeah, it has.
The entire like there's gonna be some teething issues. It's gonna.
That's perfect for fantasy. I mean,
that's great for fantasy. It definitely bodes well for your offense, especially your pass catchers, because it suggests that there's going to be some high totals in Miami. There always is anyway when the weather's so good.
And
yeah.
You know what, boys? I wouldn't be surprised if Tyreek Hill gets traded at some point in the year either. I really like him. A good value this pick in the drafts, but at the same time, I think Tyreek Hill might be a mid-season trade candidate to a contender.
Yeah. And guys, I'm going to very quickly say here, so coming up to my next pick, this is why you pick the guys that you want. Doesn't matter what their ADP is. I had Calvin Ridley queued up. He was due, I think he was 77 or 78 overall in the player rankings. It was going to be, 15 picks above ADP. And then you've got Hurls pick him halfway through the 6th, which I think is a fantastic pick. So I'm now scrambling a little bit to try to work out what comes next, because I did not think that there was going to be someone take him. And yeah, as I said, that's why it's super, super important just to back you guys. Looking at my squad at the moment, I feel like I'm pretty well balanced. This is very much a not punt, but wait for QB, wait for tight end build. Really counting on your running backs and your skill position guys to get you your scores. And it feels like that's where the vast majority of your scores are going to come every week, especially looking at the squad here of all the starters. 6 of those spots are coming from wide receiver and running back. So that's where my priorities lie. So I'm looking at taking best available in those spots. Specifically with wide receiver, though, obviously I got one less. And if I look at the guys on my squad so far, Devontae Adams feels like he's very touchdown heavy. And Xavier Worthy feels like he's going to be more like a field stretcher. I want to try to get someone that I feel like has some real boom potential. I feel like I'm pretty safe with Devontae Adams and Xavier Worthy. They've got a pretty high floor. So I want to have a wide receiver that could come in and be someone massive. So it might feel like a bit of a scary pick. And I'm looking young here. I'm looking at Travis Hunter and Rome Odunze are my 2 guys. And honestly, it's a really difficult pick. Travis Hunter feels like he's much more talented as a wide receiver. Obviously, the concerns are he's getting a super heavy 2-way workload in camp. And Rome Odunze has obviously got to compete with DJ Moore. I'm going to back ADP here and draft talent and go Travis Hunter as my wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, in the 6th round, this is where you want those guys that are going to have high upside. And I don't think there's any other more polarizing prospect than Travis Hunter coming into the NFL. I mean, he could be talking about, could he be a boat? He could be a mega yacht. He could be so good. He won't need many plays. I know there is. There's a lot of questions with the offense to defense ratio and how that's going to play out. But I mean, in my eyes, if he does come on an offense, they're gonna have plays ready to go for him. They're not going to have him on there to block and take up time there. So could be a sneaky good one. But I'll just read out now that we're up to the last pick of the 12th. DJ Moore at the start, Judkins, Pickens, Waddle, Flowers, Monty, Ridley, Swift, Williams, Travis Hunter, Jordan Addison. And now I will actually just run the auto pick because I don't see a green light there, just to keep this thing ticking along.
Yeah,
Joe Mixon, that's a shame, but that's just what happens if you're not here. We're gonna auto pick you.
We're also talking as if he's out for the season. Like, yes, I believe that's what's going to happen. It's not confirmed. He could be right by week 3, 4, 5, right? So that could end up still being a good pick. And if you're able to get someone that was, outside of the injuries and stuff like that, a bona fide top 12 running back last year, they're still going to give him volume. It could be a really, really good pick.
It's worth a risk in round 6.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because usually the mold of that team is 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs at this point. Like Joe Mixon's maybe a starter, or probably is, but in a flex position, he probably is. But if he's healthy, man, he's as DFAB said, he's a top 12 running back, top 15 at worst.
Because I think usual ADP before the whole injury news was probably at the back end of 3rd, probably before that Chuba Hubbard range, probably between him and Kamara. That's where healthy. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, it could pay out, and at this back end of the sixth, you're not really relying on him too heavily to anchor your
Mm.
roster. So, what are you thinking here, DFAB, as you come up to your seventh pick?
So as it stands, look like kind of to give you guys some insight on where my head's at. I'm thinking two ways of going about it, and it's basically focused around QB. I look at best QBs available, obviously knowing that my big gaps right now are tight end and QB. I don't want to completely punt the position. I'm happy to wait for late, but I'd still like to have some good guys there. And my boy Bo Nix is sitting very, very close to the top of the QB list. And knowing that there's a possibility of having a Bo Nix and trying to get a stack with him later on, possibly shooting myself in the foot here, knowing that we're live, but knowing that there's the possibility of having a Bo Nix and Evan Ingram stack, so I can sort out both QB and tight end with that stack, or I can take the stab at it and go get a Tim Patrick or something like that and play for that stack. Is where I lean, or do I look again at best available and just try to continue to stock up my skill position spots? I've got my starters sorted, but obviously we've got a bench as well, and we know buy rounds happen, and I don't want to leave that as a gaping hole by the time those rounds come around. I think I'm going to go more so with the former with that. I'm going to take Bo Nix here with the hope that I can solidify a stack down the track, knowing that, again, I said before that I like my QBs having rushing upside, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people chasing Drake May as we get later on in the draft as that real late draft gem. So I'm going to take the headache away and just go Bo Nix early and feel confident with him as a standalone QB, knowing there's the opportunity for a stack down the track too.
That's the best thing to have too, the way that when you build your team out, you've got flexibility. You can really go all different ways, and it's not really going to hurt your roster. I like, honestly, taking your pick of the litter of the QBs there. You're well balanced.
Yeah.
That's definitely a position that you need to fill. And, of course, there is a lot of players around that value. But, again, this is where you call your shots. If you're high on a guy, you take them first, and don't worry about them, trying to run that risk of letting them fall to you later on. So good pick there. And looks like we've got Kyler after Bo Nix as well. So we might start to see a little more QBs come through. We've got Cooper Kupp.
Seriously, that Baker Mayfield's not gone yet, though.
Yeah. I mean,
that feels crazy, doesn't it? It feels insane.
Could be lining up for you here, Mav. Who are you thinking?
Oh, read me mind.
Baker Mayfield. Unless Deadly comes in and sweeps him away.
I hope so.
That's his name, Deadly Sweeps.
Always gone Jerry Jeudy. There you go.
In all honesty, boys, I'm probably looking at running back here. I'll probably punt that I don't get Drake May. I don't really care. I'm happy with getting a Dak Prescott or Jordan Love later on. Doesn't bother me. So yeah, I'm probably looking at a Cam Scatterbo here. I know Tyrone Tracy went probably about 3 picks before I am on the board. I still have Travis Etienne, who's in a timeshare at the moment. I can't really get around his situation at the moment. And Brian Robinson's actually probably the one that I'll take first. Actually, he's a bit underrated. He's still on the board. He you know what his role is going to be. It's going to be red zone. It's going to be first downs. He's a good runner between the tackles. He's very solid. I'm going to take him at this pick. I think that's. I think you just know what you're going to get out of him. At least Cam Scatterbo. He may start. He may not. We don't know yet. But with Brian Robinson, he's going to get the bulk of the carries.
Yep. No, I love that pick, mate. And sorry, you go, Mo. You go, Mo.
No, I was going to say, the clear cut running back there in that backfield, and in the depths of these rounds here, you can never get enough running backs. We know how decimated that position gets throughout the season and how injury riddled it is. So definitely not a bad angle to go with loading up on those guys late. And after Brian Robinson, Deebo Samuel. I just want your guys' quick take on Deebo. I mean, with the Terry McLaurin holdout, the further and further we get into the training camp with that, I mean, Terry mightn't start week 1 if this holdout continues and things get a little bit ugly. So Deebo could be a huge value there at the back end of the 7th.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mav, you go, mate. I'm timing it horribly.
He very well could be. We were just talking about the Commanders' offense, and no scary. But they still need a passing option through the air. They've got Zach Ertz that's still there. He's getting on an age. Had a really good year, but getting on an age a little bit now. And no scary Terry. So Deebo could be good value. Depends how cooked he is with his past. I mean, he's had some injury problems himself. So see how he goes.
Yeah, and he did injure his left hand over the weekend diving for a catch. I'm not particularly concerned. What I find most exciting about Debo, and I mentioned this in the training camp pod we had last Wednesday, they're running him a lot out of the slot. So it looks like Washington are using him as a bit of a gadget guy, trying to manufacture Debo touches. All reports suggest he's still like an elite athlete. Obviously, his durability is starting to come into question, but when he gets the ball in his hands, we all know what he can do. So if the health part is starting to tick with all the other stuff that's going on, at the end of the seventh, that is an absolute steal. As someone that could run out as a proper wide receiver 1, but worst case, a wide receiver 2, in an offense that's still going to have to throw. They can't just run everything with Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson. Debo could be a really, really solid pickup.
And following Debo, we had Mark Andrews before we got to my 7th and 8th round picks. In this spot, I'm probably going to have the pick of the litter with the last remaining running backs. And for me, that is Travis Etienne. I am very high on him this year. I just think looking at the landscape of that running back scenario, I know we mentioned Tank Bigsby was getting a lot of the first and second down carries in training camp. But when I'm looking at the pass catching option in a Liam Cohen offense, I think he's going to be absolutely, for lack of a better term, he's just going to be pelting the running backs when it comes to receptions. And I think Travis Etienne is definitely levels above the other two in terms of pass catching ability. So I'll take him there to close out the 7. And with this here, I think Chris Olave, honestly, I think this is huge value to start off the 8th round. He's well and truly the number 1 receiving option at the Saints. I know the quarterback situation, the offense is going to be ugly, but he's the best they've got. And falling in the 8th round, I'm happy to take the stab here.
That's fair. Obviously, the big concern with Olave, it's not talent, it's concussion. So as long as he can stop leading with his head, maybe see if he can wear maybe if he can wear like the Halo helmet or something like that, the Guardian helmet, and just try to do what he can to reduce the shock on the brain.
That's a bigger target.
I also can't see Tyler Shuck or any other idiot in the QB room under center doing anything to protect him. Like I'm actually really worried for it. I feel like we might see something similar to what was his name? The guy from the Steelers that ruined Antonio Brown's.
Oh, yeah. I can think of the hit. I can't think of the name.
I remember watching that hit live. I can't remember his name. All I can think of is Shazier. It wasn't him. It'll come to me at some point. It'll come to me in like the 10th round. But yeah, it just feels like we're going to see this highlight at some point this year where Olave gets absolutely lit up because of a really proper hospital pass from Shuck or whoever else is throwing the ball. Honestly, at this point, I'd rather see Taysom Hill under center.
Could be sneaky. Could be a sneaky option.
Could be. Maddie, what are your thoughts coming into your next pick, mate?
Well, as I said before, boys, I was going to take Baker Mayfield the round before, but then I realized that the 3 teams behind me have all got QB. So I didn't need to do it. Good
awareness.
So that's a bit of a heads up if you're doing 1 QB leagues. Always see where you're drafting, see who's drafting after you. If you want a QB and teams behind you have already taken a QB, then you already know you don't need to do it. But I'm not going to take QB here, even though Baker Mayfield is the obvious choice here.
Yeah, he is.
He's really not. As I said before, I still like QBs below him. You know, Justin Fields is there, Jordan Love's there, Dak Prescott's there, CJ Stroud's there, Drake May's there. Like all those guys for me scream value in these 1 QB leagues. This is why I like Superflex leagues, DFAB.
Yeah. Tell me again.
I'm probably going to target wide receiver. Jordan Jennings just went off the board, I believe, at that 803. I'm going to take his teammate Ricky Pearsall at 804. He's healthy, ready to go. Potential breakout, possibly. And now, if I check my lineup, he would be my first bench spot on my team. So, don't need to start a potential breakout player, but I think he'll be involved very early into the season and should have good production.
Yeah, and exact type of person too. First bench spot, you're just shooting for the stars. with that one. And Pearsall, we saw how strong he finished off last year, so he could well and truly fly over the moon. But moving up to your pick here, DFAB, what are you kind of thinking? You've filled out quarterback. You don't need to worry about that. Are you thinking tight end, or are you going to focus on those skill position players a little bit more?
I'm a little bit disappointed, and this may have been because I threw out a little bit of slide at Jay Sigger after a couple of his picks. So he took Evan Ingram, and honestly, a really good pick for him, which takes away my ability at really securing the stack. So for me, tight end probably slips a little bit. There's some rookies there. It feels like there's a real tier break from Evan Ingram down. So I'm pretty satisfied in holding out. I could maybe have a look at Travis Kelce, but I won't because I've got Xavier Worthy. I don't really feel like double dipping in the pass catching room there in Kansas.
He's dropped.
Really, he's dropped a lot. He's going to be a really good touchdown upside guy. But I'm actually pretty bullish on Travis Kelce. Yeah, it's a great pick. Thank you for taking that decision away for me, Hells, because I think Travis Kelce is going to have a good year. Really good value. Him in the 8th round. He was a first round pick. What, last year before?
Yeah, 12 months ago.
Yeah, like Travis Kelce, look at his historical finishes. Look at Travis Kelce's finishes. There's only 2 outside the top 5 in the last 11 years.
And he had a bad year last year. He had a bad year.
Really bad. He was so unhealthy, man. He was so banged up. And on that, just looking at Whisperer's pick there, and Mekareg Buka, I know all of us groaned. That was the guy that a lot of us wanted. Has so much upside, and I think that's a really good player to highlight because that's super early. It would have been early if any of us took him, and this feels like 7th or 8th round is where you're going to take that stab. In my opinion, from the 7th round onwards, all bets are off. You've got your key starters, and now ignore ADP. You just chase. If you pick 4 guys that are outside the top 100 or the top 150 because you just believe in them, take them because
it's like you're in a nightclub at 4 a.m. There's no one left.
I wouldn't know anything about that, Mav. I got no idea what you're talking about. So with me here, I'm looking at best available. I've got 3 solid wide receivers I trust. And 3 solid running backs that I trust. I'm going to jump way down the list of players here. And I'm going to take someone that I believe has realistic chances at being a proper a proper RB1 from week 1, especially with all the concerns with Joe Mixon. So I'm going to take Nick Chubb.
Jesus, that is a reach.
It's a big reach, but if he comes out, even if it's for a month or if it's long-term like I think it's going to be, starting running back in the 8th round, steal.
All aboard the Chubb Club, baby. That's that
Chubb
4
Club,
a.m.
baby.
special right there. After that, Chris Godwin.
Old 4 a.m. The old full job.
You haven't stayed up past midnight for 10 years. What are you talking about, Mav? But yeah, it's a spicy pick. But as I said, at this point, I'm happy to take a gamble. Like realistically, it doesn't really matter who I'm taking at this spot because in my last 4 players, if they don't pan out, I drop them, and I'd rather have someone that's either going to hit or be nothing, as opposed to having a middling person that's going to sit there and do I play him this week? Do I not? And because you always end up starting them the weeks where they don't hit, and then you sit them, and then they'll go for 25 on your bench. Like, give me someone that's either going to hit and then disappear, or someone that's in a murky situation that could have super high upside, but also could be worth nothing if things change. I'd much rather that guy.
Absolutely. And I'll just quickly recap the 8th when you jump in here. DFAB, Alave, Myers, Jennings, Pearsall, Reed, Goff, Kelce, Egbuka, Scatterbo, Nick Chubb, Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield. And then that closed out the 8th round. Then starting off the 9th, Stephon Diggs. And with you 2 picks away, DFAB, is it time to pull the trigger on tight end yet? Or is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Again?
Yeah, no, I think it's tight end time for me. And looking through, there's still some really good names to go around. Jono Smith's been someone that's been getting a lot of FaceTime at the moment. was the tight end 4 last year with 111 targets. We know that there's not necessarily a plethora of pass catchers at Pittsburgh. You know, you've got DK, you've got maybe Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin in the receiving room. Like, it thins out pretty quick after DK, so Jonnu might be the guy to give them some of those dump targets through the middle. David Njoku, we know what he can do. There's some really promising rookies in Tyler Warren and Colson Loveland. Obviously, really high draft capital on those guys, but again, I've talked about this guy.
Hey, don't bring him
Mulls
up.
guy.
I'm still plenty of picks away. Don't bring him up just yet. Let him fall.
Just hoping he falls. No, I spoke about Dalton Kincaid the other day.
Love it.
It might have been a couple of weeks ago in the pod. I think he's really poised for a resurgence. Dalton Kincaid, as a rookie, was really, really solid. Set records at the Bills. Go back and watch the was it a Sleepers pod or a Risers pod that we did a couple of weeks ago where I talk about Dalton Kincaid. But I'm really high on him this year. I think he's got lots of opportunity, especially now with Khalil Shakir with some question marks with his ankle. They desperately need a number one that they can trust. And I don't think he's ever going to be the guy that turns into like a Trey McBride or Brock Bowers where he's getting 12, 13, 14 targets a game. But I think that the floor is there enough and the scoring upside is there enough because the Bills offense is so good overall that Kincaid is worth the shot.
It's a great pick there, Kincaid, and yeah, even better with the Shakir news. And that's what you always have to do too. When you're looking at those injuries, what lanes are opening up for other players and what opportunities are arising. So it's a good one to line up. I actually just quietly love the J.K. Dobbins pick. I mean, that is, looking at it, that's 4 rounds past where his running mate RJ Harvey is gone.
Yep.
So, I mean, if he's projected to be the first and second down early thumper, yeah, definitely good value there. And Mav, you are a few picks away, my friend, with your third last pick. You've got QB question mark, but besides that, you're pretty balanced across the board. Who are you looking to go to here?
Well, I mean, back-to-back picks right there, and Jordan Mason and J.K. Dobbins were the 2 guys that I was actually chasing, so they're going off the list. So we'll remove them off. You know, we still have guys like, yeah.
A lot.
Look, if you're going to go to wide receiver, I think that's probably where we're going to pivot now that running back is now the 2 that I really want to off the board. We're looking at guys like Keon Coleman with now opportunity there without Shakir. Josh Downs is one that screams value, and probably the guy that I pick here is actually I'm going to pick Josh Downs here.
Nice, great pick.
Extraordinarily talented player with upside oozing through himself, but just not sure he's playing at QB, which is always the concern.
Yeah, and it's been a hard one to kind of map out with that quarterback question mark. I mean, I've been getting so many mixed reports with Anthony Richardson who's been balling out, then he plays like dog balls, and then Daniel Jones, who knows what's going on there. Who are you kind of thinking is the lead for the job at the moment, who is just arms up in the air? You know, we don't really know what's going on.
Mav, I'll let you take this one first, mate.
Well, I think Richardson's probably the one who's probably putting his hand up the most. He's where the future is of this franchise. It's not Daniel Jones. I would give Richardson a chance. I mean, they've been pretty on par through whole training camp. Is what the report is. No one's really been lighting the house on fire, but no one's been shitting up that the other one's better as well. So I would roll with Anthony Richardson to start off in week 1 and then just decide how he's playing after that and make a decision after like week 5 if he's not the guy, and pivot to Daniel Jones if that's the case.
Yeah, you're right with Anthony Richardson being the future. I feel like he should be. But between him and Daniel Jones, it's got to be Anthony Richardson. Knowing that they're playing Miami week 1, which is for lack of a better term, a kiss on the dick to start. Like, they're going to have no secondary. It should give him or whoever the QB is an opportunity to really start strong. But then you're going into like Denver, who we know from last year were absolutely dominant in the secondary, and they've gotten stronger. Like, their defense look like they're going to be absolute world beaters this year. Then you got the Titans, Rams. So there's going to be positives and negatives to whoever gets to start first. They should start strong and then look like they're going to look really good. And then Denver comes in, or Denver comes into town because they're playing them at home and have to deal with that no-fly zone and getting sacked 6 times. So I think the way the Colts will do it, if they're intelligent, is they roll with Daniel Jones to start, let the veteran go through someone like knowing that Anthony Richardson had confidence problems last year. Let Daniel Jones start the year, get to a bit of a softer schedule when they play, the Rams, the Raiders, the Cards, the Chargers, get to a softer part of the schedule and then kind of let him run out and go from there.
And I just go, after you picked Mav, Josh down to the 9-9, I went Tank Bigsby, Tajay Spears, and then back to me on the 9-10 turn. For me, I definitely wanted to add another running back to this roster because you just can never get enough of those guys in redraft. So Javonte Williams, I'll gladly take him after Jadon Blue. I think he will be the main guy there straight at the bat. I think on our league winners show a couple of weeks ago, he was a name for me that I'm going to be taking everywhere at cost. I just think there's no way he doesn't outperform that ADP. And then speaking about the Indianapolis Colts, Tyler Warren, rookie drafted, I think it was the 12th or 14th pick. He well and truly could be the number 1 option for either Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones in that offense. So I'm happy to take the flyer on him with my 10th pick. After that, Keon Coleman, Jalen Warren, and back to Mav for his second to last pick.
Yeah, Najee Harris I've taken there, my second last pick. Look, am I massive on Najee Harris coming into 2025? No, not really. He's going to have a role in the offense, absolutely. Is he healthy at the moment? No, but it's only an eye injury, so I'm not really too concerned about that. We know the Chargers love playing, 2 running backs, so Najee will have a role. If it's in the red zone, even better. And if he gets traded mid-season to a team that needs a running back, I'm loving that. So if he's just going to sit on the bench for bench depth, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, beautiful. Good pick. I like it.
DFAB, mate, you're coming up here. Where's your mind at?
I have 2 guys queued. For me, it's very, very easy where I want to go. I'm confident that my 11th round pick, my last pick of the draft, is going to go. He'll fall to me. He's outside the top 190, but someone that I really, really back. Young rookie that's looking super promising in training camp. So with my young wide receiver. So with my 10th pick, not to give it away just yet, but I'm aiming to pick on situation. I kind of alluded to it with the previous round. For me, I want someone that is either they kind of go in hyper valuable in the situation they're in now, or if there's a very small switch, and if they don't, at best they're a handcuff or they're worth nothing, and you throw them on the waiver wire. So, assuming he falls to me, I will go there. But this is why I don't open my mouth. Because Pat Bryant is 100% who I was aiming for with the 12th, and 1,000% Whisper knows exactly who I was aiming for. Pat Bryant, I love him. So he looks really, really solid. Here the guy that I was mentioning is sorry, you're not forgiven, mate. I'm gonna remember this day. I'm picking here in the 10th, Ray Davis. I just think with the James Cook holdout, think back to Le'Veon Bell. We've seen holdouts turn into entire seasons, and Ray Davis has shown that if he gets given the keys, he can be really, really impactful, and we know how big the upside is in that Bills offense. So I don't care that I've got both Ray Davis and Kincaid. I don't care that I'm double dipping in the Buffalo offense. If I had to choose between one of the 2, I'll go waiver wire fodder and take Ray Davis if he's the starter. So
take a chance.
Exactly right. We got Drake May finally coming off the board. I really, really thought he would be going a lot sooner than that. The upside for Drake May is so sky high with that rushing upside. They look really good. I know that Mull loves himself some Drake May, as people will have seen on the Instagram.
That's disrespectful. 10th round Drake May. I feel sick. I feel absolutely sick. I could have. Yeah, if I didn't take Josh Allen at the back end of the 3rd, he definitely would have been slotted there for sure. That's huge value for Drake May. But that's just the thing with these 1 QB formats. As soon as 12 are taken up, just the value just falls.
I haven't taken one yet.
Oh, sorry, Bav. We've got people double different in quarterbacks and Babs. He's just flying. He's flying solo here. So
Yeah, exactly
to
right.
see.
Exactly right. So I guess I'll talk through my.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go far away.
I was just going to say that's the strategy I usually do. If I'm taking tight end early, I will sort of take a QB really late, and if I do it the other way around, I'll take a QB early. I'll take a tight end really late. I just don't like taking both very early. I feel like I'm handcuffed either running back or wide receiver. In these one QB formats, I feel as though the bulk of your team's always going to be wide receivers and running backs. So to handcuff yourself to two positions that aren't really that important just isn't the way to play in one QB league personally, or no non-tight end premium or whatever the case is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, back to my final pick. I'm definitely going to stick in the same lane that I mentioned of the rookie wide receiver that's blowing things up at training camp. Someone that I believe has really, really high potential, not just from like what they're showing at training camp, but the people around him. It's not much competition. The man I'm looking at is Dante Thornton. So I'll just get this going so we can continue moving the draft on. Dante Thornton, for those that haven't heard of him, he's a 6'5" rookie for the Raiders. Sky high potential. He's already training with the first team. And I think he was like a round 6 draft pick, round 7 draft. Well, could have been undrafted. It was super, super late. But has come through and going, he's an absolute world beater. Looks amazing. Looks like he's got a really big opportunity at carving out a legitimate starting role. And we know almost every year there's someone that goes undrafted or someone that no one expects that comes in and is an absolute stud. And I'm happy to push my chips in on a Dante Thornton and hope that, again, with my last pick in the draft, I've got someone that can really be impactful.
And the drum beat, it's been beating very steadily for Dante Thornton throughout the whole off season. So, and that's what you have to do when you've been following it actively, following the news. These are the kind of advantages that you can have. So you put your money where your mouth is, and taking a guy like that he could pay off in a big way. So it'd be good to see how that one plays out, because there's not much, I guess, competition besides Brock Bowers. I mean, Jacoby Myers, he's kind of still tinkering around there, but besides that, not much else going on. Mav, leading up to your... Oh, sorry, DFAB, finish off.
I was just going to say the one thing, just to, again, not to harp on it too long, but the one thing I love about taking a guy like that at this stage of the draft is you look at all the other wide receivers out there. If worst case scenario, he doesn't hit, you drop him to waivers. There's no harm, no foul, because there's a million other players you could pick. So having someone there that it's like, cool, I like the drum beat, I like how things are looking. Give it 1 or 2 weeks, and if they suck, drop them. You've got someone that you can very easily get, cut loose and make some play on the waiver wire. So I like it. Love that pick from Hurls too for Roschon Johnson. I've been banging the drum for him quite a lot. So fantastic pick by Hurls.
A good pick here, and exactly who you want to take in the final round. Mav, to close us off, a QB has to be coming right. Or
I was going to say, what do you reckon, mate?
I reckon you get no QB strat. First time ever.
I know, it doesn't take a genius to work that.
It's gone from Superflex to Noplex, dude. What are you doing?
It's one of those ones. There's a few QBs here, and this is the whole no QB strategy for one QB. Like you got Herbert there, you got Purdy, you got Caleb Williams, Love, Fields, Stroud. You got so many options there. I'll take Herbert for now, but I would imagine if this is my team moving into a season, I'll be punting QB and taking the good matchups throughout the whole year, and just streaming them through. But I'll take Herbert to start off with.
Beautiful, great pick.
He's falling so much. Hey, I mean,
I don't understand why he is
such a gun, but I think just all the moves that the Chargers have made, signing Najee Harris, drafting Marion Hampton the first, they're just going to run the ball a ton. But I mean, if Keenan Allen goes there, you've got Herbert, you've got a Ferrari under hood. Let him throw the ball, let him work. So that'll be could be a great value there. But I'll just read out before my last pick. I'll read out the last couple of rounds here just for our audio listeners. Tyler Warren to start off the 10th, and Coleman, Jalen Warren, Najee, Charbonnet, Stevenson, Prescott, Pat Bryant, Rashad White, Ray Davis, Drake May, Colson Loveland. Start off the final round for this evening. We had Bayshell Tootin, Isaac Garendo, Dante Thornton, Braylon Allen, David Njoku, Roschon Johnson, Luther Burden, Christian Kirk, Justin Herbert, Tucker Kraft, Rashid Shaheed, and my final pick. Can't get enough running backs. So for me, I'm going to take the pure upside, and that is Trey Benson If
beautiful pick.
like we've seen, if he gets injured at some point early on in the season, Trey Benson's going to be a starting running back and in the 11th round of the draft. So
yeah, beautiful pick. Love it.
That will tie us up here, guys, for the 11th round. Thanks everybody, all the Insight creators, and also a couple of viewers here that joined us tonight. It's always good to get active people in because we just know how skewed CPUs can be when it comes down to this. So I'll throw it to you, Mav. Run through your team and your favorite pick that you made so far.
So I've got Justin Jefferson, Brock Bowers, Alvin Kamara, Chuba Hubbard, Ted McMillan, Jalen Waddle, Brian Robinson, Ricky Pearsall, Josh Downs, Najee Harris, and then Justin Herbert to round it out. Pretty happy with that squad, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's well balanced and has a mixture of high upside with some dependable old guys on there as well. My favorite pick is probably the Chuba Hubbard pick at 404. I think that's good value.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Was slept on a little bit, and he really made his mark last season, and has earned his spot. Should have gone higher, but well, it is what it is. But no, I think I'm quite happy with that team. It's got as I said, bit of mixture of everything. So I think that would be Brock Bowers is an interesting one. If it was I don't usually go tight end to start off my drafts. I actually rarely go tight end at all, to be honest. But this time I've decided to play around with it, and I think it's
come out looking good. Yeah, came out looking good, mate. I actually really like your team, to be honest.
Thank you.
Don't want to say that again. That felt gross.
I'll take a snip of that later and go to bed. Happy man. Very happy man.
Mull, I could probably see where your question's coming, mate, so I could probably just jump in there.
No, mate,
I had Jameer Gibbs in the first round, Breece Hall and Devontae Adams, which had the chat going crazy in the second and third, Xavier Worthy, Caleb Johnson, Hunter, Bo Nix, Nick Chubb, Dalton Kincaid, Ray Davis, and Dante Thornton. My favorite pick has to be Caleb Johnson in the fifth. That feels like such a steal.
Agreed.
If someone was to take him back into third, I'd understand. Like and I don't. For the record, I don't think he's going to stay at his current ADP for much longer. I think as we get through preseason, we get to see him more through preseason games and stuff like that. I think there'll be a lot more noise for Caleb Johnson, and he's going to fly up the ranks, mate.
Oh, I love it. Could well and truly finish within the top 15 running backs. I could see for sure. Would not be surprised. Run through my guys to finish this up. I have Josh Allen in the QB position, Derrick Henry, Trevion Henderson, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Trey Benson for my running backs. For my wide receivers, I had Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Chris Olave, and tight ends, I have Tyler Warren. I mean, looking at my favorite pick here, I mean, I'm happy with all of them, to be quite honest. But probably Chris Olave. I think that one, and it's probably the most controversial, probably in that spot when we were going through it. I just think, I mean, 9-1. I'm not going to play fantasy. Looking at injuries, I'm going to play for if everything kind of goes my way. And if Chris Olave stays healthy for 17 games, he is well and truly going to outperform that 8th round pick by quite a margin. So that's who I'm going to go with there to close us off.
It's definitely a spicy pick, but it's good that you back it, and he's got the talent to be worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what he's got. We'll see how it plays out. Guys, final thoughts as we close off the first edition of the Monday Mock during August. We're going to be back tomorrow night, probably around the same time, bring something juicy to you guys. But DFAB, final thoughts, mate. How are you feeling after the first, the first series of what's going to be a very long August?
I fucking love fantasy. I love football so much.
It's good.
That's how I feel. I was very, very excited for tonight. It's the first mock I've done online with the boys. Fantasy has already taken over my life, so I'm excited. Stay tuned, guys. As I said, we've got, or as Mull said, we've got lots and lots of content planned, both on Instagram and through Patreon and stuff like that. But just with the lives we've got coming up over the next, 3 to 4 to 5 weeks. It's not long now. The season is legit. 5.5 weeks away now? We're around the corner. So stay tuned. It's gonna be a fun ride.
Very close. Mav, mate, before you sign us out here, let the people know about the redraft leagues that have kicked off so far for Insight. We've gotten them rolling. I believe you've gotten one full ready to go or just about, how can the people find that and get involved in the redraft leagues for the Insight community?
Yeah, so just reach out to myself, either on Insight platforms, Patreon, Twitter, anything. If you want a spot in leagues, they are getting created as we speak and open. And if you want a paid league, free league, whatever you want, just let me know, and they'll be available. And just hearing some whispers across the grapevine that something might be added down the line. NFL related content down the line. Won't reveal too many things at this point, but it will change the landscape of fantasy football. It'll give you another element of fantasy football.
It's very exciting.
So we'll keep that hush for now, but I think you sort of get the gist of where I'm going with that. But anyway, watch this space. But yes, if you want involved in any leagues, hit me up. Preferably on Twitter, and I'll get you involved.
Trust Mav to tease us like that right as we sign out. He's a
bit of a tease, isn't he?
Very cheeky dev, very cheeky dev. Guys, we'll be back next week. Let us know. Oh, sorry, we're back tomorrow. Let us know in the comments below if you do rate the one quarterback content and also who you thought had the winner of the draft. And yeah, we'll
Mock Draft Monday.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Mock Draft Monday, baby.